Hey, my friends, it's Jorge Antonio here in En Mi Tierra. It is my great privilege to have on our program Mr. BJ Perez. Many of you see him out in the community. He is a mentor, he is a coach, he is an employer, he is a father, he is a son, he is an uncle, he is a husband. He has many facets to himself, and so I'm just really honored to be able to share a little bit inside of his heart story as we dive in and learn a little bit about him. BJ, welcome to our program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Anthony, for having me here this morning.
Yeah, for sure. For people who don't know you, BJ, can you share with us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and where you're at now?
Well, I'm BJ Perez, as you mentioned, and I'm the general sales manager here in Denver for our broadcast company called Estrella Media. So many of you know it as Estrella TV. We also have a digital platform that's called Estrella Plus. So again, I'm the general sales manager there here in the city of Aurora and the Denver metro area.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how long have you been doing that?
General sales manager for the network has been, I think I'm going on 5 years next month already. Yeah. Oh my goodness, time flies. So, and then I've been with the company for going 20 and a half years. That's been quite a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Before that, I was doing all the marketing for some radio stations and our network. But then I moved on over to Denver, and here I am.
Yeah. So what do you think about Denver?
I love it. I love it. You know, with all that's going on, our roots are from Long Beach, California.
Okay.
Our corporate offices are in Burbank, California. So with all that's going on right now, I mean, I can't complain. I mean, this is great. There's a lot of people out in California, and you know, just so much going on down there with what's going on in our world right now. So I'm glad to be out here. Now I'm outside of Denver living. I live out in the Littleton Highlands Ranch area. So there's less people here than in the metro area. Yeah. In downtown. So I'm good. I'm comfortable out here.
Yeah. No, I live downtown Denver, right by the 16th Street Mall, and so it's always loud in front of me.
So it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, I've always been a suburb kind of guy, so I like living out here where people are walking their dogs and just walking around, and there's just not that much traffic going around.
Yeah. Initially, it took some getting used to, but now I don't hear it. You know, the sirens go by, people yelling. I don't hear it at all. And
well, especially right now.
Yeah, especially now. It's like a ghost town out there. It's pretty nice because you have all these. You have the city to yourself, so it's kind of a nice deal.
Yeah.
And so where were you born? Where'd you come from? A little bit about your childhood.
So a little bit about me. I'm born in LA. I think after less than a year, we moved over to Long Beach, California, and then raised from there. I didn't move out of Long Beach until I'd started at Estrella. So I think I moved out about 2004. So from 75 to 2004, I'm very proud Long Beach resident. And then from there, I moved on to the Valley, closer to the office. And then from there, I got married and moved out to the other side of the world, which is the Inland Empire in Rancho Cucamonga. So that's just to give you a perspective. It's an hour away from Burbank. So so that's where we moved from last, and then we ended up moving out here to Colorado. But yeah, that's pretty much where I come from.
Have you always wanted to be in media? What drew you to it?
You know what? With media, it's a bit of a story. It's always been in me. It's when I was little, living in Long Beach. I remember this is living with my dad and my mom. My mom and dad divorced in 1982. 81 around that, and so I was born in December 74. So there you go. That's about when I was about 5 or 6. I remember those days when I used to just put my dad's headphones on, and I used to pretend I was a DJ, and or I used to pretend I was the el protagonista, the main character of a novela, and by myself. I mean, everyone thought I was crazy.
You played all the
They
parts.
I played all the parts, and I sit there and do those things, and just my mind would just be creativity, creating my own world. And I can go on and on about all the stuff that I used to do as a kid to entertain myself, because it was my sister and I, but it was like dogs and cats. I mean, so I had my side of the room, and she had her side of the room, and stay away from mine. And so I had to create my own world, man. And so I remember. So ever since then, the point of that is, ever since then, I remember that passion for entertainment, the passion for acting, the passion for radio. To this day, I mean, I still get goosebumps watching our commercials that we do at the network. Doing these things with you, being on the radio when I'm interviewed, seeing the Grammys. I mean, all that's my passion, man. You know what I mean? And as far as I remember, so fast forward to 1990, when my friends started singing in high school. I was like, oh my God, this is what I wanted to do. So I used to practice and wanted to sing. Oh, I'm the worst singer in the world, by the way. Yeah, I'm the worst singer in the world. And so I started, so they put me on, but I was terrible. But I had this avenue to get into the entertainment business. So finally, again, now fast forward to 1992, my friends got a record deal at Zoo Entertainment back then. They were a group called Coming of Age. And so now that gave me access to the entertainment field. I'm like, oh my God, so now we're going to their shows, and we're backstage, and we're VIP. Kind of like when I'm at your show, I feel like it's special. Right? I get to go back and see everything that goes on. And, right? So, it was just my driving me. I loved it. And so, still a terrible singer. Let me remind you, still a terrible singer. So I got cut from the group that I was in. Tried a couple different groups, but finally, my other friends got a record deal through Warner Brother Reprise. You can still find them on, I think on some of the platforms, YouTube. So they're called New Flavor with NU. So my buddies ended up getting a record deal with Warner Brothers, and so that went on to a bigger scale, because when I mentioned Zoo Entertainment, you're like, okay. But when I say Warner Brothers, well, hey, that's a bigger company, right? So I ended up helping out a lot, and as to try to before they got the deal, I ended up helping out a lot and going to the shows. And my best friend, who's not part of the group but became like an assistant manager for the guy that found him, Bruce Johnson, a big mentor of mine, and found a few other artists. He said, he was, BJ, I could use you. Why do you want to sing? And I could use you as an executive. I mean, you have passion. You speak Spanish. You're not afraid. And I need you as an executive to help me push the group. And I said, but I want to sing. He goes, BJ, let me tell you something. He goes, the life of an artist is 1 to 2 years. The life of an executive is forever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it holds to this day. I mean, here I am, an executive in the entertainment business, and a lot of my friends that performed are still performing, but obviously their careers are up and down. As an entertainer, that's how it goes, right? Being a radio DJ, being a person on TV, being a singer, that's just your career, especially, and that's if you're riding the wave. Sometimes it just goes straight down and you're done. So anyways, I've been wanting to do this forever. And so from there on, I just got behind the scenes, and we ended up working on a smaller record label. And then from there on, I got a job at back then Lieberman Broadcasting, which is now Estrella Media. And the rest is history. Here I am 20 and a half years later.
Wow. And so through your different experiences, do you have any that stand out to you? Kind of,
absolutely.
You mentioned the Grammys. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've worked the Grammys. Definitely, I will never forget that. One of my favorite artists is Brian McKnight, and so that was seeing him do a rehearsal back then in 1999 when he was in his Metal Mole. You know, it's still one of my favorite artists. But that back then, he was winning Grammys, performing on the. I'm sorry, you know, as a matter of fact, that was the American Music Awards. I ended up working at Grammys for a bit, but the American Music Awards was my first big experience in this business, where, as a matter of fact, besides seeing that, my desk was next to the assistant of Dick Clark. So it was Dick Clark, his assistant, and me in the production room. So that was cool, you know. Get to experience that. Get to experience the American Music Awards, man. I mean, you don't know, or maybe you do, just what it takes to put that thing together. It's weeks of production. So that was one. The other one is I've done some cool things at Lieberman. Or at Estrella Media now again. I put together concerts for 150,000 people, which was our Cinco de Mayo and Fiestas Patrias. I need to show you brag about some of those. Send you some pictures where that's again still my passion. So those are seeing people happy, and I'm sure we'll discuss about the why and all that stuff. Is just seeing people, you know, all the work that it takes for my team and I to put together a festival of that size, and not sleeping days leading up to it, just pulling my hair out and not nervous, just there's too much work. Oh my God, well you know. We've talked about this when you put together the Festival of Color. Right?
Think about the eyelashes to where you're going to plug things in, to who's going to eat when. Everything. Every single thing, right? And so but there's nothing better than the day of, maybe not in the morning. Maybe not in the morning when you're still troubleshooting. Yeah. But you know, you get to the climax where it's just from there on. It's just, you know what? Look at pase. It's like at this point, there's nothing I can do. The people are here. The models are ready. Everything is happening. And don't come with me with problems. Just come with me solutions. If you have problems, please stay away from me. So the point of that is, you know, the faces in the families, the faces in the dads and the wives. It's un domingo, Cinco de Mayo, Fiestas Patrias, sales con la familia, man. You've got your beer in your hand. The kids got the cotton candy. That when people rush in to try to get in front of the stage to see their favorite artists, their dreams come true, bringing them backstage to meet Julian Alvarez or meet, you know, Vicente Fernandez. We've had, I mean, that is like, woof, that is like the best, you know. So those experiences are unforgettable, man. Just that feeling. And I miss that, honestly. I don't do it here because I went on to sales and became the general sales manager of the station. But that was back in my marketing days and in event production days. So I truly do miss that. But those are definitely the highlights of my career. Yeah. They say people may not always remember what you say to them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
That holds true for me. I'll tell you that. I remember a lot of my mentor guidance that I still remember, and I use now to help out folks that I can. Yeah.
Now, what kind of characteristics do you look for in somebody that inspires you and motivates you?
You know, honestly, someone that's done it. That's for sure. And I was watching a video on YouTube on this guy from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I love watching those videos. But he says that teachers are liars. You know, and because they're teaching you about economics or how to invest or how to do X, Y, and Z, yet they're teachers, and they're not doing it. If they knew the answer, why aren't they doing it? So that's my little spiel about schooling and all that stuff. But yeah, I look for that. I look for somebody that's done it, that's doing it. That they've done it and failed and accept that they failed, but yet they're teaching you how not to fail because that's the way. So they have a passion to teach you how not to do what they did, but this is the way I think you should. So you gotta be careful with what you pick up. And I learn from everyone. But whenever I look at someone as someone that's guiding me or as a mentor, I definitely pay attention to those characteristics. Are they doing it? Have they done it? Have they failed? And because if they've done it, then they're probably still doing it. And if they failed, then they've done it before. So both ways, man. That's what I look for when I sit there and give somebody a chance to guide me. But saying all that, I listen to everyone, mm-hmm. even the ones that aren't doing much, because I want to know what they're thinking, and the ones that are doing a lot, because what are they doing? So it doesn't matter. But as far as a mentor, I definitely look for been there, done that.
Yeah, I think our minds and our bodies naturally process things. It takes things in, and it takes what it needs, and then it processes the rest out. And that's part of surrender, and that's part of leadership, and that's part of maturity, is in trying not to hold on to everything too, and force fit, but to really, learn from people to teach you how to be, and people to teach you how not to be, and they're all important.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one thing is, that's one thing that I always say, you just have to be careful, because sometimes and you see it a lot. It's whenever people speak about numbers of percentages of, for instance, the 1%. I mean, you look at those numbers and look at the way people think with money, their career, the way they listen. For instance, I'll give you an example of one is as I've always managed, been managing for a long time, is even before, so with the groups, there's in the group of 5 guys or 5 ladies, which we've had both, there's one that talks while you're trying to explain something. That means they're not listening. They're distracted and they're not listening because they're just ready to speak. And it's like, no, hold on, listen up, process and speak, And so that's why I think when you look at those percentages, and you look around you, it's there's a couple of people that really listen in and hone in and come in and ask for, hey, can you let me know again about what you said? I'm really interested in, or I didn't quite catch what you said. So that are trying to process what you're saying and to better themselves.
Yeah. Because what I've learned is trying to figure out what I want is being revealed to me. I know what I don't want. And when people can realize what they don't want, then they leave that space and that opening to go and pursue other things that they do want, or allowing nature and the universe to bring in the right people and things into their lives. In your daily thing, what kind of stuff do you have to do on a daily basis to kind of keep yourself motivated? You work out, eat healthy. Do you think you've gotten healthier? What are your feelings now?
I'll start off with the last one. Yes, definitely take care of your health. It makes you feel a lot better about yourself. I know, like, for example, my wife and my mother-in-law and my daughter got together and started making galletas de azúcar.
Oh, great.
Yeah. That's like crack, man. That's like crack. And so I didn't eat them the first day, and I ate 2 the next day. And then yesterday, I think I had like 10 of them, man, with a cup of coffee, and then another cup of coffee. And so today I said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. So I see my shirt. Yeah. It's a little tighter, and I do that on purpose because I feel like I've built in this shirt. And so that makes me not want to eat too much. Right. So you still got to eat and take care of yourself. So A is take care of your health and do whatever it takes for you to feel better. So that's the exercise part of it. As far as what to do on a day-to-day, I talked to my team the other day, and I say this often too, is I was talking to one of my talents, Isaura, and she does a program called Estrella Te Conecta. And from the 3 interviews, the first interview was kind of just, I didn't feel her energy. And but the other 2 were great interviews, with local nonprofits that she does. And so And I get it. It's not a rah kind of an interview, but you still need to have some kind of energy. That's you as a host, you got to bring energy to your podcast, right? So, and you're doing a great job of it. But it's I tell them, you have to find that in you, whatever it takes. For instance, for me, I definitely need to have coffee in the morning. I have to. I mean, I can't go without coffee and then go into a meeting. I can, but I know that it's going to be, I'm going to be dragging. So I need to be ready because, I'm leading a team and I need to be enthusiastic. I need to be encouraging. I need to have the answers. I need to think quickly. So that's I need to have my cup of Joe in the morning and be ready for the team Zoom meetings, or if I'm, or when I go into the office, I have people coming in constantly, and I'm the manager. So, and whenever I don't, like during the day, like for instance, let me give you an example. If I'm struggling with self-motivation, I listen to a lot of YouTube, I told you earlier. I listen to YouTube. I listen to a podcast. Anything that just gets the brain going, to get me excited again. And so I tell my team that just find what is it that pushes you, what is it that excites you. So I find different ways. I don't know if those are specific ones. I definitely have to do my cup of Joe. I definitely have to make sure I put on a tighter shirt so that I won't want to eat more. I definitely do those things. I definitely have to exercise. It makes me feel better. And I've came a long way from where I was about a year ago. But I'll tell you the silliest one is, and this is where I say, BJ is a little crazy. I love listening to every blue moon, listening to or watching the video of Kirk Gibson's 1988 home run. Right? Just the thrill of him coming out of the dugout, Vince Scully's announcement, the whole pitch by pitch, and then hitting the home run and euphoria in the stadium. That gives me goosebumps. And whatever it takes, just find it and do it. You got to find what you have. What gets you excited? Is it watching a video? Is it reading something? Is it talking to someone? Is it making that call? Is it the art of the sale, make it out of the call, and that passion of cold calling? I don't know, whatever it is, but you have to find it. You definitely have to find something.
Yeah. It's really important. What I've learned, is that how we have to guard this. And I mean, the scriptures tell us that you got to guard this. And before I was like, I don't care. I'm going to fill it up with as many distractions, beautiful distractions as I can in my life, and be so caught up in the more, where really it's internal. Did you find that time, that epiphany you mentioned last year, where you're like, I have to get healthier. I got to get stronger. I'm going to die. This is my own body. This is my one shell. This is, I need to take away the distractions and just start focusing on getting better at being better. Did you have an epiphany like that? What happened?
I did. Because I struggled a lot with a lot of, let's just say, let me start a little bit from when I started at the radio station, or at the broadcast company back then. I say radio station because that's where I started in radio. Everything around you is beautiful. Everything around you is fun. Everything around you is dangerous. So you have to be careful. And in managing people, I've seen them do really good, which I love mentoring those kind of folks. And then there's some that just get into the wrong thing and things that they shouldn't be doing. And boom, I've seen them fall. So I was one of them in my first 5 years. It was hard to focus, I still had the passion, I still had the drive, but I was stuck in that world, man. And so I've seen it. That goes to another thing to what I was saying earlier about I've been there, done that. So I can speak about it and tell my team, whenever I get younger guys or ladies that come in, that, I've been there, done that. So 30. It really kicked in. Like, do you really want to make a career out of this? Do you really want to move forward? Do you really want to help people? How are you helping people by doing what you're doing? So it took a lot of prayer. Definitely. God was it's always been on my side, for sure. I thank God every single day that I get on the computer to start work. Thankful for work. Thankful for the mind. Open my mind. Give me creativity. And so I wasn't too focused on that during that time, 24 to 30. So when 30 kicked in, I had to do different things in order to change my mentality forcefully. And that's when I moved out of Long Beach. Yeah, so I mean, but yes, that was it. When I was 30, I wanted to become, I had so many opportunities and so many people wanted to help me and so many people saw something in me. And you're blowing it, dude. This is gonna get old, man. Like, you know what? They're gonna find some other kid that they want to help, and you're blowing great opportunity. So 30 was the time that my life changed and said, look, you got to change your lifestyle, because if you want to grow in this business.
Yeah, they say if you want things to change, you have to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Mentality.
Yeah,
your mentality.
Your mind, your body, your heart. Your environment,
your soul.
Yeah, cut off people and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For me, it was definitely all of that, and very important is my soul. My God. You know what I mean? It's but losing some friends, unfortunately, it's tough. It's tough. I understand when people can't do it. It's tough. but it's not impossible. That's all I can say. It's just you're gonna have to switch that mindset to do it.
Yeah. So the way I looked at it is that as I progressed in my own life, it was like raising a level, and that not everybody was going to be able to breathe at my level, and I can't be mad at them. All I can do is inspire them.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Right.
And accept it. That's the hardest part. Like, we moved here 5 years ago, as I mentioned, and we've been really picky about where we hang and what we do. And for me, it's I don't want to make it seem like some of my friends like, well, no, that's why you haven't called me, BJ. No, that is not it. I'm really busy. It's not that. But there are some, and I think they if they're watching and seeing, I mean, we kind of stay to our own, because when we moved here from California, that was one thing that we were saying, like, we gotta focus on us, focus on the family, and so that takes sacrifice, and that takes fun, sometimes fun, and it's just going to take a lot of sacrifice on your end, and it sucks sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And here's the thing, that sometimes people, I feel like that are with your wife, that's why you become a circle. That's why you get a ring. It's just you and her, and everything else and everybody else is, including our children or our family members. There's this notion that we owe them more than getting them to the top and say, go and grow and experience. Because I'm going to go with mine that's in my circle and go grow and experience with the one that God sent to me. And why do you think people feel like they owe people? Who do you owe? What do you owe? Why do they owe?
I'm the wrong person to ask, because I feel like I owe everybody something. I honestly, that's and I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Outside of money, I'm talking about this.
No, yeah, of course, outside of money. I knew you were going to ask me this question, and I'm that sucker that my only stress in life, but the only, besides maybe watching my Lakers, Dodgers, and they're about to blow a game and they're losing the lead, that's stressful for me because I'm a sports fanatic. But other than that, I don't. People say, oh, BJ, just relax, man. You've been, because they think that because I'm the general sales manager of the station, I have a team, sales, numbers. I don't stress, man. I just do what I have to do every day and feel good at the end of the day. But so I don't stress about work. Rarely I do. I mean, it's not that I never do, right? But my main stress is I want I want to help you. I want to help people. I want you to feel good. So let me give you an example. I think when we were texting, hey, can you do this? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, man. And then I'd forgot, and I was like, oh my God. And that stress was like, oh man, he's gonna think that I'm not trying to be supportive or anything. And I don't want him to think that. I want to make him feel good, man. Like I'm supporting him.
Yeah.
And that's what stresses me more is, and it's stupid because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be worried about making everyone happy, but that is my why though. I mean, that is my why. I just want to make people happy and grow and help in any way that I can. And so, it's got a lost track there, but yeah, that's the one that stresses me, I guess, is just making sure people are happy and I can do things to help them. I was going to say, give you an example of here at home is I'm husband in the morning, I'm maestro BJ for a third grader. At 8 o'clock, we're listening to school announcements, and I'm signing homework of what they send us, and I'm organizing her schedule, and then at 9 o'clock, 8:30, I try to get there by 8, but usually 9. I'm already preparing for my 10 o'clock, 10:30 Zoom meeting. And then at 11:30, I'm already defrosting things because my in-laws are here too. So I'm already defrosting things. I'm already prepping them because I want us to have lunch at noon as a family. And there's a bunch of other reasons why I do that for my in-laws. And so that we're not wasting food, so that we're all eating kind of the same thing. It's all delicious food. We're not forcing people to eat something they don't want. It's all delicious, but she's ready to pull, like, hey, what are we having for lunch? So I go out and do that, and then right at 11:55, I'm walking towards the kitchen, and we all sit down. We're organizing the table. My daughter she eats, and then she enjoys her last half hour during her lunch, and then at 4:30, I'm already defrosting things, take things out so my mother-in-law can make some food for us right at 6 o'clock. And then, I mean, and all that stresses me out. It's like, why am I stressing? I was thinking this morning, and I think about it almost every other day. Why am I can we just be? But they like that. They like that structure because it keeps us together. It's my stress of making sure the family is good, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we're taking advantage of being here locked up together and making the best of it. There's a schedule. My father-in-law like scratchers, and so we go buy him scratchers, and I buy him, $40, $50 worth. But we give him 2 a day, and at certain times it depends on what he's doing. So you see that all that stresses me out, and I just want everyone to be happy in our household. So that's what stresses me out, man.
Yeah. It's called self-imposed anxieties.
Do not need it, but I can't help it.
Yeah. I freak out when it's my turn at the McDonald's menu. I'm like, I knew I had Taco Bell does the same thing. It stresses me out.
Are you related to Myra, my wife? My God, it's like we get to the drive-thru and it's like, it's McDonald's.
I don't know. It stresses me out. It's like, it's my turn to bat, and I'm gonna freak out about this thing. What if I don't want cheese? Yeah, but I don't know. So I get it. I understand that, and I had to realize the craziness in all of it too. That it's silly, but also brings us to an interesting point: how people end up, allowing their minds are so powerful to guide them, and the fact that you've learned how to control your mind in these rituals and saying these are things that I look forward to rather than things that I have to do. And then it makes it more of the joy of doing it versus forced love. And I think because it has to be something to be looked forward to, and that no matter what, BJ is going to eat at 12. You want to be here or not? Because I'm going to eat. And I would like for you to be here. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's awesome that you have that ritual with your family, and every family has their little quirks with the scratcher tickets. But at the same time, these are little things that you're responsible. That again, because there's bigger things in life, bigger fish to fry. And your wife, Mayra, you mentioned her. You know, she came into your life. Do you remember that time when you first met her, or when you first saw her? What did you think? Was this the one? And you know, how's this become your road dog and all of this?
The corniest story in the world. It is. It is. It is.
Someone's calling you.
Let me see. Yeah. Are we there again? There
we
go. Sorry, I got a call.
The corniest story.
The corniest story in the world. So I managed 2 offices in California, in Burbank and in San Bernardino. Mayra worked in San Bernardino, but she worked on weekends. So, and I had a manager that managed that office out there. So I was the head of promotions and marketing for the company. And so I had a manager over there that hired Mayra. I went and interviewed her as well too. This is 3 years. Well, let me go and just continue here. So she used to work on the weekends. So I see her whenever we did events, bigger events. I didn't really see her for the weekends that she would work, because she had her dental job. She was a dental assistant, but she just like me, just had a passion for the entertainment and all this kind of stuff. And so I hardly seen her, and never was really just. Never something clicked and says, "Oh God, she's cute" or whatever. Nothing. I mean, it never crossed my mind, you know. And as a matter of fact, she'll tell you stories about how I was so annoying just because I check in on the team. Geez, you know, just hey, you know, can you work this weekend or things like that. And so that made me annoying, for instance. So I was like, oh, he's calling me. Why is he calling me? Why isn't Selene, my manager that I had assigned out there, call me? Why is he calling me? You know. Anyways, fast forward 3 years later, after she'd been working at the company on weekends sporadically, we were at an event setting up Fiestas Patrias at a park out in San Bernardino, and I'm in my golf cart going around, and I'm briefing the team on what we're gonna do, and I had a big pimple on my lip. So she gives me a hard time about it, and in front of the team, you know, and I'm like, and Anthony, I got butterflies in my stomach, man, and I was like, why is she flirting with me? You know, and I got butterflies in my stomach. So this was in 2010. So here I am. I mean, 35 years old, still getting butterflies in my stomach, man. And she just got me excited, man. You know, I was just like, so I ended up giving her the job that was in the trailer with me and handling radios. So she's like, oh gosh, you know, why do I have to be next to this dude the entire weekend? Anyways, and so yeah, right. Yeah, so I had her work with me all weekend closely. So, but she just drove me crazy, man. It's just had the juices going. I was excited, man. It just felt like I was in love, man. Like, you know, but and keep in mind, she had worked with me for 3 years, and I've known her. So I called her on Tuesday because Tuesday was her birthday. This is after the festival. Blah blah. Monday went by. Tuesday I called her, and she's like, it was her birthday, and she says, you know why is he calling me? She says, you know, and so I'd say, you want to just say happy birthday, this and that. And so we ended up talking. Obviously, this is awkward. This is her boss, right? I just called to say happy birthday. That's all. Nothing fresh. Nothing. Yeah. I wasn't getting fresh over the weekend or anything.
Yeah,
you know? But I said, hey, you know, what are you doing tomorrow? And so at this point, I made a decision. Again, you make decisions, right? And my thing was roll the dice here. I didn't care. I felt something inside. I wasn't gonna roll the dice. I felt something back from her. My rolling the dice was, I'm gonna tirar a los perros. I'm gonna go after this, and I know I'm her boss, and I'm risking, but I did it, you know. And so I said, hey, you know, let's meet up for a happy hour tomorrow. She's like, really? Like, yeah. I mean, you know, he goes, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be in Ranch Cucamonga. Why don't you meet up? I was lying. I lived 50 miles away.
That old
I lived
trick.
in Burbank. Yeah, I lived in Burbank. And so she was like, yeah, oh yeah, you know. So we ended up meeting at Lucille's out in at Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga. And so we ended up having a good conversation there at the corner of the bar. And so when I walk out, I ended up planting a kiss on her. So again, I knew what I was doing and I was risking everything. But, you know, I just still had that feeling. And so I went and she kissed me back, man. And so fast forward 2 days later, one of my good friends was getting married in Calabasas. And he says, "Hey, BJ, you know, who's your guest?" I said, "Oh, I'll let you know in a bit, man, see if she's going to go." So I called her and I says, "Hey, you know, my friend's going to get married in Calabasas. Calabasas is another 50 miles, 40 miles down from Burbank. So 100 miles basically away from her, right?" So she says, he goes, "Hey, you know, we're going to have a room down there because we know we're going to be having a good time. And so you want to stay down there." So I told her, "Hey, we're going to have a room down there, but don't think anything. There's going to be other people in the room. Like, I swear I'll sleep on the couch." Like, really? Like, oh, she ended up saying, yeah. So we ended up going and she slept on the bed. I slept on the couch. Some other buddies in there. We had a good time. And then the next day on Sunday, this is all within 1 week. The next week we had a Dodger promotion because we used to work with the Dodgers. The station did, and so we had a promotion. And in the morning, as everyone's going and grabbing their beers and hot dogs, we used to bus people to the game and give them free food, free beer, free peanuts, free seats, free everything. So for the family. So she was one of the hosts of the buses. So here she is walking with a couple of beers in her hand, and she's going to take her friend a beer. And I said, "Hey, Myra, come here." Oh yeah, she comes over. You know, and I said, I told my best friends here, I said, "Look, this is Myra, guys. I'm going to marry her in 10 years. Again, I knew I'm risking, man. I'm going right? But she's already, but you know, but we've already kissed, you know, but still, right? But you know, and she goes, like she says, in 10 years. And so we ended up spending the entire day. She never delivered that one beer she had in her hand for her friend. We ended up we didn't even watch the game. We went up to the stadium club and hung out there the whole game. After the game, it was Sunday, so my Chicago Bears played that evening. I said, "Hey, we're gonna barbecue at my house. Why don't you come by?" She got her cousin. She goes, "Yeah, you want to go?" Her cousin, "Yeah, let's go." They ended up hanging out all night. And we're just parting away. Next thing you know, she falls asleep next to her cousin on my couch, and my friend and I are still talking and having a good time. Then we get picked up at 3 a.m. because they left their car at the stadium. So, and the rest is history, brother. It didn't take 10 years to marry her. It took a year.
Wow. It's really interesting how just God brings these people to naturally just fit into your life.
Amazing.
And vice versa. Right? It's like you all knew each other. It's like, hey, no, you fit.
Yeah. No, right? I mean, in front of me the whole time. And you know what? And so when I say that it's a corniest story, because I think it is, but oh my goodness, man, like to this day, I mean, it's what a passion for my wife. I mean, what love. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I struck gold, man.
Yeah. And for people who don't know Myra, you know, she's just a kind soul like you as well. And I think God has the ability to match hearts the way that they are. And, you know, sometimes a good man needs a better woman to kind of fan his flame and keep him going and stuff like that. You had mentioned God and your relationship and prayer life. You know, what kind of things do you pray for?
I pray in the mornings before I go to. In the morning when I wake up, I pray before I get on my computer to get to work.
Why is that important?
I pray before meals and in the evening, and they all start off with being thankful because I don't deserve to wake up every day. I don't deserve to have a job. I don't deserve none of this, man. It's just all God's grace that why we have it, and so very thankful. Ask for guidance. Ask for peace, patience with my daughter today. Patience with Myra today, you know, patience with this, patience with that person in the office today. You know, so I ask for patience, peace, open up my mind, let me have the answers, let me be helpful, you know, soften my heart. And But mainly, and I say, the reason I mentioned morning work and all this kind of stuff is because I first and foremost start off with thank you. Thank you. You know, there's, especially right now, man, there's just so much going on. So unfortunately, so many things that are happening, the deaths and jobs and all this kind of stuff is, geez, if you're not thankful right now, man, you know, so it's very important to me.
I think gratitude is that space and that place to give for the things that come and go in our lives that either teach us or influence us, because nothing lasts forever. You know, because again, what is forever? 1 second, a year, 1,000 years, 100 years. By death or decision, we all go our separate ways. And I think it's designed that way so that we can appreciate it while we have it until it's gone. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so it's like there's this famous doctor, his name is Dr. Seuss. He says, don't be sad that it's over, but be glad that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
That way you have all the perspective on it is different, because then you learn the art of surrender. To say, thank you for this experience. Thank you for this person and for this moment.
Every experience. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But like my grandma said, you know, I remember back in the day when I would want to be out with all the distractions, with all the noise of life. And I remember telling my grandma, you don't know anything, Grandma, you're just old. But now I realize that she did know a lot of stuff, and she was just trying to calm my spirit and say, hey, go and enjoy God and what he's created for you and what he's got planned for you. And so I'm glad that you found your purpose. Now, what's next on, you know, that purpose lifestyle that you have? You know, what's next on the agenda for you? Do you feel you've succeeded? What's going to happen for you?
What can I say? I feel like I've came a long way, and so to say I haven't succeeded would be wrong, because that would not make me thankful for, at least for where I'm at right now. So I feel I've succeeded. Am I done? No, absolutely not. I'm only 45 years old. I look at it, even though I don't want to retire at 65, I look at it as as at least 20 more years of good work, and beyond that, hopefully with our own ventures. So the next on the agenda for me is always I always just want to be able to help. And so the more I can find ways to find more money, I love looking for things to build wealth, and then the wealth not necessarily for me. I guess that might not be the word. Just find ways for me to increase my donations. And so when I see, you know, I'm just going to use a crazy example, but when I see like LeBron James building a school, when I see, let's just say, raising money or being able to write a check to an organization of my choice, and I love helping kids, and so you know, things like that, a nice chunky check, and that's what I want to be able to do. So right now we love to donate and give, but I can't wait to be able to write one of those big checks on a consistent basis, you know, and be able to build something. That's my ultimate goal. Honestly.
Besides sadness, what makes you cry?
I'm a weenie, Anthony, man.
You're being emotional.
I watch movies like this, man. Oh, I got to stretch.
Don't look at me. I got something in my eye.
No. I say that excitement. Besides sadness, I mean, there's just so many things. There's a ton of things. A commercial about the poor dogs that are lonely on the street, and they play that stupid song, man. It's like, why are you doing that right now? You know, and just I'm very emotional. Very emotional, and as you can see, I'm talking. I'm just I had to wear my emotions on my sleeve, man. I'm very emotional. I love. I love
Yeah.
love. I love people loving each other. I love a good deed. I love to see you do a good thing. So sometimes it catches me when I've had a little too much coffee, or I'm a little too excited, or and it hits me in the ear. So a ton of things. I'm
Yeah.
just one of those guys. Like they make fun of my father-in-law because he's a crybaby as well, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's very passionate, and so
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Obviously, besides sadness, just excitement. I'm very thankful. For instance, if I go on and give you one quick example, and I don't even know my family knows, but they will know once they watch this. It's like when I go to a vacation to Cancun or to Puerto Vallarta, wherever we go. When we first get there, man, that feeling of I've seen this on YouTube. I've seen the videos, the drone, and I'm here. I thank God, man. It's like I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe this is it. This is paradise, man. And I'm thankful, and that makes me cry. I mean, so just a ton of things that I'm a chillon, man.
Chillon. That's funny. That's funny. You have a daughter, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Seeing her. Yeah. I mean, seeing her. I mean, when she's excited, and I just that feeling that I get, just of I just want her to be happy, and so those things like that get me excited. Seeing her.
Yeah, seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I tell people what makes me cry is seeing you do what you're proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And being in that place. And you had mentioned your travels. Where is your favorite place in the world? Where are you planning to retire?
You know what? Plan on retiring. It's been crossing my mind. I got to be near the water, man. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Colorado's nice and everything. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful, but I have to be near the water. So that's another reason I need to start thinking about other ways too. Because I'll be fine. But you can never have enough because you never know how long you're going to live. I mean, and kind of these. And I've seen people that are 90 and they've been retired for 30 some years already, and you run out of money, man. So you got to be able to take care of all that. So the point of that is so I got to work hard so I can end up on a beach, because obviously if I wanted to live anywhere, I could. But if you want to live by the beach, I think it's going to cost a little bit more. I just love that. So it's been crossing my mind to go to somewhere in Mexico. Because of the culture, and because I know the Spanish, and I've worked a lot with the Mexican community with our stations, so there's a passion there about being around them and feel comfortable around it. So I'd love to do that, live on a beach somewhere in, when I go to Cancun or Puerto Vallarta or Nayarit, just getting a little cottage there or a house or something and chilling, man.
Yeah. You'll get to that point in your life once everybody's gone out of the house that less is more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait for that day. We talk about that. I have the 8-year-old, and I have the 19 and the 24.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that. Eventually we'll just move into something pretty small and somewhere where we can enjoy our money in other ways.
Yeah. Just go be. Just go be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up our time, BJ, is there anything that people don't know about you that they should know about you? Things that frustrate you? What do you want them to know about you when they see you on the street and they approach you? Stay away from you. How does this work?
Very approachable. Very approachable. I love to ask questions. I want to make sure you're good. How can I help you? So definitely very approachable. I think I threw a lot on the table for you today. I mean, I told you I'm a chillon. I told you I stay away. I tell you I work hard. I tell you what gets me excited. I mean, it's all there. And so based on that, if there's anything that encourages anyone that I can help you with, there's any way that based on what we talked about today, that's encouraging, and then you want to know more, definitely send me a message, call me. I'd love to help if I could. Now that's the only thing too, is I can only do as much as I can. You know, that's it. Sometimes it's, I always tell everyone, ask the question, because it's going to either be yes, no, or I don't know. You know, so but you'll get an answer. So yeah, definitely. If someone feels that they have any questions or anything that we can help them with, I think as far as, so please reach out to me. And as far as knowing everything about me, I think that's, you know, got my kids there, you got my wife, ya te dije el chillón, what we're doing, my team, what I do, how I started, the scratchers, you know.
At 12 o'clock you gotta eat.
Everything. I mean, you know, just very structured. So so it's all there. I mean, it's my life's pretty simple.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. You know, there's and I can testify to your giving heart and your willingness to help others. In the years that I've known you, Lord knows that I've had to call you on some things and say, BJ, I'm about to undertake something bigger than me. You know, what do you think? And you're like, well, jump. You know, do it, try it. You know, here's some little things, and I took your advice, and you know, though we don't always have the answers, but just sometimes in that little bit was encouraging to say, you know, take the plunge, you know, try out something different, believe mostly in yourself. And so I know for me personally, you were definitely an inspiration and helpful to that, and I thank you.
Good, thank you. No, thank you for believing in me and believing in the station. And we love your projects. They're fun. Miss them. Miss you know, all the events that happen, all the clubs, our clients, and everything, just the restaurants, and just, it's crazy right now, but just keep doing what you're doing too, Anthony. I mean, you know, that those are cool things for people, for the models that you help out too, and even for En Mi Tierra, the passion you have for that business is, you know, that's awesome what you do. And I'm sure that you have some other videos that explain all that you do with En Mi Tierra. That is a beautiful thing, man. And appreciate it. And we won't elaborate too, because we can obviously create another whole video regarding what you do there. But keep it up, man. And I know you have a big heart, and that's why you're doing this.
I appreciate it. I love what you do, and part of the mission of En Mi Tierra is, you know, we don't want to do what everybody else does. We just want to be part of capturing their story and be part of telling that story. That way, for generations to come, they can be inspired. They can see your story. But it's like that movie Coco that was so famous. People have that fear that they're going to be forgotten. And so through our program, we've created an ability so that you won't be forgotten. And so thank you for sharing insight to your heart, into your family, into your mind. And I hopefully that this seed lands on the right heart and on the right soil, and that we just did our part in conveying the message. And so Long Beach, California, now here in Denver, Colorado. BJ, thank you so much for sharing with us. If people want to follow your work, how can they find you?
Well, for me, my work, they can watch our TV station here in that Estrella TV, channel 53. 644 on Comcast. And anybody want to shoot me an email, I'm sure you'll have the details down below there on B Perez at estrellamedia.com. My name is BJ Perez, and we're easy to get a hold of, and I'm sure you'll put the rest of the info there under the video. Yeah,
for sure. All right, my friends, this has been BJ Perez. Well, BJ Perez and Jorge Antonio, thank you so much for taking time to watch our video. Hopefully you get encouraged and know that you are not alone and that you are not crazy. We're with you. Talk to you soon.
This is BJ Perez, and thanks for watching the video. If you want to watch more stories, please click on the link below and subscribe.